It's Monday, and this is Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, and a good afternoon to you, everyone. I'm Rob Adams. Donald Eng coming along in just a moment. Got a busy show for you today. We'll take a look back at the weekend in football. If we have time, we'll get to a few other things, but it is a heavy weekend of football, and that's where I bring Don in. And Don, we saw a major upset in the FCAC, so we've seen a switch in the balance of power. Not that it's a big surprise, but I think the upset itself was a surprise.
Upsets, we get the playoff picture coming a little bit more into focus, at least as far as the FCAC standings goes. Also, there was a couple of relatives that played a football game down in Greenwich. I think we might have heard about that also. Was there some hype around that game?
Yeah, the Macaroni Bowl or something. I don't know.
Like that.
We'll get into that as well. We've got some interviews from that, along with highlights of that game. We were indeed at Greenwich, New Canaan on Saturday. And one thing I said to Chris Canaan during the broadcast was, Greenwich, New Canaan has had a history of a great rivalry. These are two schools that for a long time didn't like each other. My old joke was they could play tiddlywinks and they'd still be, they'd be throwing tiddlywinks. They
play to win.
Yeah, they'd be throwing tiddlywinks at each other. But, they had this background. There was the Albanese-Marinelli, rivalry, and even in things like hockey and anything that they met in. So you already had that background. Now add in this father-son thing, which, to be honest, by Saturday I was sick of, let alone the Marinellis. It was time to kick off and play football, and they gave us a decent game in the end.
They did. For Greenwich, there's no such thing really as a moral victory, but in this case, with first-year coach trying to bring a program back to prominence, to hang tough with arguably a top 5, top 3 team in the state before eventually losing 24-14. It was a good performance by Greenwich, I thought, despite the fact that they lost. The kids, they played hard, they played well. What are you going to do? Sometimes you just run into a team that is just a little bit better than you are, and that's what happened to the Cardinals.
The one thing that the Cardinals have to take away from this game is that they had 3 takeaways on the game, and they didn't get points off turnovers. You want to talk about a big factor in this game. When New Canaan intercepts Frank Alfano with 1:01 remaining in the first half, New Canaan goes right down the field in 52 seconds and gets another score to go up 21-0. After Greenwich had 4 tries from inside the 10-yard line with a chance to cut it to 14-7. So there are 2 blown opportunities right there, and that was a big change in this game.
It was, and I think the lesson here for Greenwich, as we said earlier, with a new coach and a lot of new players, they're not that far away. I think that's what we take away from this game. We saw them earlier against Darien when the game kind of got away from them in the second half. You saw a different Greenwich team on Saturday, and like I said, they're not that far away from a return to prominence.
No, I agree with you. What I saw on Saturday was they were a better team than what they put out against Darien. Now, are they worse than Trumbull? Well, the scoreboard says they're worse than Trumbull. In reality, are they worse than Trumbull? Did they really get up to play for New Canaan, and that's why this game stayed so close? I don't know. I was hearing talk of New Canaan wanted to put their foot on Greenwich's throat and be up 40-plus in the first half and coast in the second half. None of that came to be. 21-0 at the break, 24-14 after 3. There was still a chance for this realistically to be a good finish, but Fourth quarter went scoreless.
Well, New Canaan might have wanted to, put a 48 spot on Greenwich and coast and have essentially a JV game in the second half.
Right.
But it's not that easy a thing to do that to a team that's motivated, skilled, well coached, and I think improving week to week.
I think Michael Collins played well, but he did not have his best game on the day. According to Dave Stewart, 19 of 37, 369 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 26 touchdowns on the year through 5 games. But he also threw 2 picks, and of course they had a fumble thrown in there as well. But Andrew DeFranco had a terrific game, 106 yards on 7 catches. Peter Swindell had 5 for $135. Matt Cognetta had 3 catches for 60 yards. Kyle Smith, 2 for 56 and a touchdown as well. And Peter Swindell, his 18th field goal of his career. That ties a state kicking record. It was a 32-yarder, and that came in the third quarter. So, look, they got the win. They're 5-0 on the year. Greenwich is 2-3. Can Greenwich keep building off this? Yes. The biggest threat to Greenwich's season at this point is Staples on Thanksgiving morning.
Right, and Staples, of course, with a tough loss at Ridgefield over the weekend. But just to stay on New Canaan for just a second, right now the schedule is about to get tougher for New Canaan. They have Norwalk on the 30th, and we've been looking at this November 6th game against Trumbull now for a couple of weeks. Trumbull, as we said before, defeated Greenwich, and that game, Trumbull now is 4-1 in that FCIAC West Division. New Canaan 5-0. So that game could conceivably be for the first place in the West Division and a leg up to be in that FCIAC championship game. Although don't look past Trinity. Trinity has lost to Greenwich, but they're 4-1 with a win over Trumbull. So still a lot of scenarios in play, at least for the FCIAC West Division playoffs.
We'll have the two big games down the stretch. Those big games being Trumbull and New Canaan, as well as Darien and Staples. So we'll have each of those games here on the HAN Network. We'll also this Friday go back to Boyle Stadium in Stamford. First time we're going there for football this year, but always happy to go there for football. We will be there on Friday as St. Joseph comes to town to take on the Black Knights. Black Knights coming off a loss at the hand of the Wilton Warriors, so want to see how they respond, as well as get a look at the Cadets, who we have not seen this season.
We haven't seen the Cadets. Right now, St. Joseph is sitting at 4-1. That's good for third place in the East Division. Darien leading the East with a record of 5-0. Staples is 5-1. St. Joseph is 4-1. And they've had, with wins over McMahon, Danbury, Wilton, and Ward. They lost to Darien. A lot of schools are going to do that this year. So that is shaping up to be a very exciting race also. You know, you have these teams that are at the top of the conference that are still going to play each other with various tiebreaker scenarios in effect. It's going to be fascinating to watch it play out.
Still want to get to a few more things from the Greenwich-New Canaan game, a couple of interviews, as well as some highlights. Why don't we start with the highlights? As you saw it right here on the HAN Network on Saturday, Chris Canaan and I on the call right here on the HAN Network. 15 seconds gone by, first quarter, no score from the near side hash. From right to left, go the Pinkies, setting up, screen near side. Back up, cross the middle, it's Cognetta. Cognetta can walk to Portchester. One touchdown, New Canaan.
Excellent job, just a basic bubble screen in the middle of the field. Cognetta is able to get blockers all around him, and they were able to push and clear a path for him to get to the end zone. Wide open, and Collins is going to pick that apart.
A gain of 8. He bobbles the snap, uses a shoulder fake, now throws deep, open, right down the seam, touchdown, New Canaan.
And that's just the case where the cornerback did not stay with the receiver, bought the pump fake from Collins, and allowed his receiver to get out into the middle of the field wide open. Collins with an excellent job on the fake, and then spots the man and makes the pass.
Oh, taking a look, looking everything over, now gets under center. He does snap it. He does hand it off. They bounce it to the right side, to the end zone. No indication. They're going to mark him down just short of the goal line. As the handoff went to the man in the backfield, Marco Pastori. They come up empty, does Greenwich.
Get on the field to make the official change.
Alfano waiting on the shotgun snap. He takes it, looks over the middle. He's got a man trying to break tackles. Ball loose at the 11. And it is New Canaan football. New Canaan moving from left to right with 1:40 to go in the first half. 14-0 lead. Collins rolling right. He's throwing deep. He's throwing to Swindell. Over the shoulder, makes the catch. He was one-on-one, and it's a first down at the Greenwich 36-yard line.
It gives Swindell that opportunity, however, to look for the football.
Collins rolling left. Harrington rushing, and it's intercepted on the far side. Taken down the right sideline. A big turnover as Connor Langen picked off what looked like a gift with 1:11 to go in the first half.
You have to be able, to play smart and pay attention.
Now a first down play that's picked off. It is definitely picked off. It went right through the hands of Longo and returned to the 47-yard line.
Off the hands of Longo.
Just cut right through the middle of that New Canaan line and scared Collins.
Rolling the pocket right. Collins flips, throws. He's got a man diving to the pylon. No indication yet. Far side, touchdown.
Touchdown, New Canaan.
DeFranco with that second effort catches that ball out in the flat. Just a big stretch for him and able to get the football on the pylon.
On a 2nd and 3, shotgun snap. Alfano uses a play fake, gets a block from Beanstalk, angles it, caught! Is he out of bounds? No, touchdown! Tyler Ferris from 29. Greenwich is on the scoreboard.
Greenwich rolls out Alfano to his right. Looks like he's going to run with it. Does a quick stop and throws it to that far corner right by the pylon. And it gives Ferris enough time to get there. And he has the two defenders beat. It was just a matter of whether or not he was going to catch that ball before it went out of bounds.
Snap is good. Spot, kick, plenty of distance, plenty of height, plenty of weight, and good.
Chain gang members holding the down marker.
Right up on the line of scrimmage. Beanstalk ducks down. Touchdown, Greenwich.
Touchdown, Greenwich. Beanstalk with the carry.
Now they gather around and take a knee. And indeed, there it is. Lou Marinelli begins to make his way over. John Marinelli comes off the near sideline. Everybody's going to gather around for the picture of pictures. And there's the hug.
John not too happy.
All right, so there you go. There are the highlights. Lou Marinelli's reaction as he comes to the middle of the field was priceless. At the beginning of the game, I thought it was pretty interesting, too, that father and son had not talked to each other in quite a while leading up to the game. And Lou actually, I guess he said to the officials, do you mind if I go over and see my son before the kickoff? Can we have like a little, it turned into a big photo op. I mean, there were so many cameramen running out into the field at the beginning of that game. I was thinking to myself, is Belichick here? Am I missing something? But
you sure they weren't? You sure they weren't fashion photographers looking at those cotton candy outfits?
Let's not get going on those. I love you, New Canaan, but let's not get going on those. But all that the pink. Just make a donation. Anyway. Breathe, Rob. Kumbaya. Anyway, I don't think John initially wanted a part of that pregame hug. He kind of was hiding on the one sideline.
They had to go get him.
They did. But,
it was almost like, like a Thanksgiving. Come on, give a hug.
But now, that's all said and done, and now they're football teams again, thank goodness.
They're football teams again and their families again, at least until next year.
Once they hugged, it was time to play football. And at that point, father and son didn't make a big difference.
No, you wouldn't think so. I mean, except for the fact that, that the two teams, the two coaching staffs obviously would have been very familiar with each other and how they play and what they want to do. Once you kick the ball off, it's time to play football.
Yep, and that's what they did. And it turned out to be a pretty good game. Was it a great game? No, it's not going to go down in the annals of being fantastic. But 24-14, there was a little bit of drama to it, so it was fun. But you know what, AJ, have you put up the picture of those pink uniforms? Put it up one more time. What? I don't know. But look, I'm a fashion
look at that!
police.
It says New Canaan on the leg. I didn't notice that.
Well, and it says Cardinals on the bum of the Greenwich pants as well. This is what we do now. Anyway, we had interviews from the other day because I can just tell I'm going to get in trouble if I keep going.
We do.
We got a couple of interviews. Let's go with first from pregame from FCAC game day. Dave Stewart sat down with the really good tight end and defensive end for Greenwich. His brother was also a terrific player at Greenwich High, Jack Harrington. Well, this is Scooter Harrington. Scooter Harrington has been just a stud of a player since he was a freshman. Now he's a senior, and he's outstanding. Here is Dave's interview with him.
Hi, welcome back to Game Day on the HAN Network, brought to you by Budget Blinds. Here with Scooter Harrington, captain of the Greenwich Cardinals. And, how you feeling today?
Good. Should be a really fun game today. Playing New Canaan. Great team, obviously, 4-0. So I'm happy. Our team has had a good week of practice, so hopefully we're ready for this big game.
I've talked to some other coaches, and coaches don't really like homecoming because there's so much going on at the school. How do you feel about the Greenwich High School homecoming?
I'm excited about it. Should be a great atmosphere today. A lot of students coming out, so should be a great crowd and a great day to play football.
Now, talking before about the Under Armour All-American game, you're one of 32 finalists up for a vote for the final two spots on the team, which I think the game is going to be on January 2nd. Yep. Just tell me a little bit about that. That's a big feather in your cap.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously, it's an honor to be picked for that, and I'm just looking forward to this game today, though, right now. getting out there today and playing well and getting a big team win today.
You know, I'll be posting something on the FCX site, try to get some people to get the vote out for you, and we'll see what we can do, boost a little bit of Greenwich Cardinal football here. And you know, just tell me a little bit about Boston College too. Obviously a great football school. I believe we've got Zach Allen there from New Canaan from last year. Just tell me about what went into that decision.
Both my parents actually went there, and my dad played football there, so it was kind of the team I grew up rooting for. And we've been season ticket holders for a while now, so I've been going up to games forever. And then when I got the opportunity to play there, it was a tough decision, but at the same time, I kind of knew I wanted to go there the whole time.
It's a great college town, you know, just Boston. Just talk a little about that family tie there. I mean, how I've heard people say they like to go to their, like to go where there's a family they feel wanted and they feel like they belong.
Yeah, definitely. That was a major factor. My dad's family all still lives up there in Westwood, Massachusetts, and around that area. And that's where my dad grew up too, so it's definitely an area that I feel really comfortable around, going up there all the time to visit my family, and then also going to BC games as a kid. So it was a good choice for me, I think.
You're a Patriots fan? You be up there?
Yep.
See a lot of Patriots. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a Patriots fan. My dad's a Patriots fan, so I kind of just adopted that team when I was younger, and obviously they've done pretty well. So.
You know, today a lot of the talk has been around, the Marinellis, Lou and Johnny here, and I've known Johnny for a long time since he was a little kid, and do the players is that distracting for the players to hear all that talk? Is it like we would just want to play football, or do you feed off of that?
All week in practice, we've preached the same thing. Just it's another football game. Nothing about the coaches or anything like that. It's just a great opponent that we're playing, and we got to play our best if we want to win this game, because they're a great team. They have talent across the board, so we got to just play with all of our effort today and hope for the best.
You know, and also knowing Johnny for a long time, I know he's got a lot of energy out there. How big a plus has that been for your program this year?
Coach Marinelli's been great. Our team, I think, has been playing really, really hard this year. Even though we're 2-2, I think we've played some of our best football games, and we just haven't put 4 quarters together yet. We've played really well in halves and in quarters, but we just haven't put it all together yet, and that's also what we've been talking about all week, is just playing 4 quarters today, because we haven't played a complete game yet, and I think it'll be a good result if we play 4 quarters today.
Playing a team like New Canaan with so many weapons on offense right now, and they've got a pretty good defense too, but their offense is what stands out. How tough is that to prepare for?
It's been really tough. All week in practice, we've practiced a lot of team defense, getting ready for this attack, and our offense is pretty similar in the concepts that we run. So it's been really good because we've had great scout teams all week, because we already know most of their plays, because we run similar concepts. So it's just about repping it out this week and getting ready to play it. They play really fast, so we just got to be ready, get in good conditioning shape for this game.
So it should be a fun one. Scooter, thanks for coming on today. Congratulations to Boston College, and we'll see what we can do for you with the Under Armour game too. And we'll be right back after this on Game Day.
Thanks to Dave Stewart as well as to Scooter Harrington. Now, post-game, we grabbed Cognetta. We grabbed Michael Cognetta. They both had good games, both Michael and Matt. Brother Frank probably would have played well also, but he's no longer at New Canaan High School. Here's Michael Cognetta with Christopher Callan following the game on Saturday. Back at Cardinal Stadium, the final score once again, New Canaan gets the win, 24-14. I'm Rob Adams as we head down to the field for a post-game guest. Chris Callan has got him down there. Cato.
Thanks, Rob. I'm joined with New Canaan Rams running back Michael Cognetta. Michael, everybody coming into this game, it was all about the coaches. Now, I want to ask you, because John Marinelli, who was coaching the Cardinals, he was a big part of your offense's success. Now you have to go against his defense. What kind of week did that give for you guys?
We've been going against our own D for a long time, and with a quarterback like Mike Collins always performing at the top level, we played well, and we learned a lot from just ourselves, I guess, because our offense is the same as theirs. So.
Now, let's take this back early into the first quarter. You guys get off to a great start. The other Cognetta scores 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And you guys really got off, your offense was clicking. Then about halfway through the first quarter, everything kind of slowed down for you. And Greenwich's defense kind of figured it out for a little while, and then they started having success moving the football. What was it like at halftime? How was it for you guys to make adjustments?
At halftime, we knew that we got ahead of ourselves, and they were punching us, and we just had to nut it up and punch back. Now that was pretty much it. Told them to nut it up, get tough.
And for you guys, just tell us, how great has Michael Collins been for you guys this year as far as a leader on the field?
Great. He's been real great. He runs like practically the whole team. He knows everything about the offense, everything about the defense. He's always working at home on plays and just studying film. He's been a great leader.
Listen, congratulations on a nice victory for you guys. We'll see you down the road.
Right, thank you.
Thanks to Michael Cognetta and Chris Canaan for joining us after the game on Saturday. So, New Canaan gets the win. They're 5-0 on the year. Greenwich drops to 2-3. Obviously, all of their playoff hopes are in severe jeopardy at this point. New Canaan very much alive. It would take a lot to get a 3-loss team into Class AA and certainly not into the FCAC championship game. That's a little bit too much to ask. We will come back, though. Don and I will start breaking down some of the other games. We have a note from Darien worth passing along, a notable fact for a head coach in Darien, if you didn't hear from over the weekend, and we'll also cover the state playoff races when Donald and I return on Nutmeg Sports for a Monday right here on the HAN Network.
Darien Sports Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sports Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where automation will never replace consideration, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network. You are what?
Back with you on Nutmeg Sports. You know, we were talking off the air because we're all big pop culture folks, and we were talking about the lead singer of Three Dog Night passing away on Friday. I tried to make a song reference. I couldn't go with Shambhala. They'd all be looking at me going, what the heck are you talking about?
What the heck are you talking about?
Which is pretty much what you all did to me when I mentioned they had so many hits, Don.
Well, and the conversation, we should clarify, the conversation all started with having two players on the team with the same last name and first initial, which of course brought us to the Rams and the Youngbloods.
Yes.
Which then led to Get Together by the Youngbloods, and it was complicated.
And it went from there, and Corey Wells, who was the lead singer, one of the lead singers of Three Dog Night, died at 74. I mean, Joy to the World, one-man band. Old-fashioned love song. I could keep going. Black and White.
Old-fashioned love song. Three-part harmony. That's Three Dog Night.
Yes.
All right, now look at that. I'm more socially aware than I knew.
There you go. All right, we're back with you on Nutmeg Sports, following your obscure music reference for the day.
Tune into obscuremusic.com next week. We'll be talking about football.
I am always into obscure music references. Anyway, let's get around to talking about the rest of these games. I want to start with Darien because the Blue Wave had a big win as well on Saturday. And they took care of business, knocking off Bridgeport Central 37-0 just as significantly excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong score. They beat Danbury 49-6. That's what it was. For the Blue Wave, or specifically for their head coach, Rob Trifone, it was his 200th career win. So congratulations to Coach Trifone and the whole team gathered around him. You can see Timmy Graham, Hudson Hamill, and some of the other guys there who will see a bit of the Blue Wave over the next couple of weeks. But 200 career wins for Rob Trifone, and of course he's got his own sons as part of that football team as well. So special stuff. And for the Blue Wave themselves, just another solid game for them.
It really is. I mean, you look at Darien, arguably the number one team in the state. It's either between them or Southington, and that's of course going to be the dream matchup. If that matchup comes to fruition in the Class LL playoffs, it'll be an exciting day. So we're all looking forward to that. Darien, obviously in very good shape, both in the FCAC and in the state playoff races. Right now, they are number 3 in Class LL behind Shelton and Southington, averaging 120 points per game. They have Wilton, then Fairfield Ward, and then Staples and New Canaan in consecutive weeks. So Darien in the driver's seat for a Class LL playoff spot, but can't take anything for granted. The schedule still has a couple of bumps in the road.
Absolutely true. We'll have the games against Staples, and maybe we'll do the Darien New Canaan game. I don't know.
Does anyone really go to that? I don't know.
Does anyone ever really know what time it is? There's another obscure music reference for you. But yeah, we'll cover that game. All right, we'll have it for you here on the HAN Network. Mark Ivanchek, just a few sacks away from becoming the all-time state sack leader.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, beast mode on.
He needs 3 to make the state record. So do I think he'll still be a couple away when we see them against Staples? No,
I do not.
I do not. So I don't think history will happen in front of our cameras. But Mark Ivanchek's a nice young man. I've talked to him a couple of times. He makes these bad mistakes of calling me Mr. Adams, which makes me feel old, but that's okay.
Kids today.
Other scores, since we're talking Saturday, St. Joseph beat Fairfield Ward 49-28 as well. I mentioned Trumbull beat Bridgeport Central 37-0. Trinity Catholic over Fairfield Ludlow 37-20. Trinity Catholic had a little bit of a dogfight with the Falcons. Anthony Lombardi, their quarterback, still injured. They're hoping to get him back in a week or two, but still, they're okay. Trinity Catholic's going to have a good season. They're already having a good season.
They are. Right now sitting at 4-1, and looking at their schedule the rest of the way, all their games are what I would call winnable. West Hill, Stamford, Central, and Wilton. So I'm certainly, these teams aren't slouches, but they're teams that if Trinity shows up and plays their game, they should run the table the rest of the way. We're looking at an 8-1 season for Trinity, and don't count them out. Not only the Class S football rankings, where they currently sit number 3 behind Ansonia and Granby Memorial, but they might not be done in that FCAC West. They're sitting at 4-1 right now. Their only loss to Greenwich, so they may be heard from yet.
A few more notes from Saturday games. Massac 14, Notre Dame Fairfield 7, Bassick over CREC 34-6, but Warren Harding blasting Platt Tech 48-0. Hello, playoffs for the Presidents.
This sentence may never have before been spoken, but Harding is atop the Class L football rankings right now. They currently lead the way, 6-0. They've got wins over. I mean, we knew that going to the CSC would be, it would be somewhat easier for them than playing an FCAC schedule. But they were a 500 team in the FCAC last year. It's not like they were a bad team.
No, they were a much improved program last year for sure.
They're very improved, and this year, so they've got wins over Prince Tech, Rye Country Day of New York, Thames River, Bassick, Abbott Immaculate, and Platt Tech. As far as their schedule the rest of the way goes, they've got Bullard Havens, who's 5-1, and then they have Bridgeport Central, their traditional rival, on Thanksgiving. But Harding, atop the Class L rankings, ahead of North Haven. And North Haven, in my opinion, has been the most impressive team so far in the state. They blew out a very good Notre Dame of West Haven team, and then over the weekend, they blew out another Fairfield Prep team that people had expected to make a run at the playoffs this year. So North Haven, they're big, they're physical, they're deep, and they're sitting right above New Canaan in the rankings, so that could be an old school slobber knocking game if it ever comes to pass in the Class L playoffs.
Speaking of obscure references, I like it when he says slobber knocker. Norwalk beat West Hill 14-0 as well. One more game I wanted to make sure I got you from the FCAC. A couple of SCCs for you. We'll just give you the winners running down from Friday. Cheshire, Notre Dame of West Haven, Amity, Shelton with another big win. East Haven, Hill House, North Haven, West Haven all with wins. New Milford in the SWC knocked off Pomperog, while New Fairfield Fairfield over Bethel. Bunnell needed overtime to beat Brookfield. Newtown by 41 over Barlow, and Stratford beat Weston 14-9. So many of your scores from around this region.
Bunnell with that goal line stand against Brookfield to seal the win. So good job by the North End of Stratford boys.
Absolutely true. From what else do you see in the state rankings as we get closer to playoff time? Although we still have all of November to talk about.
Well, I mean, as always, the interesting rankings are in the large and the small divisions, because that's where they tend to be. That tends to be the some of the disparities that you see. Shelton has been monumentally impressive with wins over Fairfield Prep, Notre Dame, West Haven, and Xavier. They look like they're in very good shape for the playoffs. They've still got a game at Daniel Hand, a traditional power, but Shelton looks like they are on track for a playoff berth in Class Double-L, as is Southington. The Blue Knights, a machine. They almost remind me of that. They almost remind me of that Greatest Show on Turf Rams team. They sling the ball. They put points on the board like no other team in the state so far this year.
So we look forward to football later in the week as we head to Boyle Stadium. We'll see the Black Knights as they take on St. Joseph. We mentioned that already, but it's a 6:30 start time, by the way. Make sure we mention that to you. So meaning we'll be off and running with the usual FCAC tailgate, FCAC game day. So 3:30 with that, 4:30 for game day, and then Chris Irway and I with the call, possibly in costume on Friday. We are still negotiating that.
By negotiating, what Rob means is we are trying hard to talk him into it.
No, it means we're trying to find the economical and easiest costume for Rob to wear. Also, that being said, tomorrow we have field hockey as Fairfield Ward comes to Dunning Stadium to take on the New Canaan Rams. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we'll have the broadcast for you right here on the HAN Network. But Dom, we'll wrap it up for today.
We will. We're going to get into some of the soccer and the field hockey as we come down to FCAC playoff time. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But, for today, a lot of football.
A lot of football heavy as well. Our thanks to AJ Simonowski. We thank Eric Gendron for being in the room. He didn't do much with the show, but we'll give him credit. He actually cut up a lot of all that you saw, so we'll give him credit for that.
All-around good guy.
And Kate Chaplinsky's sitting nearby, and she liked the fact we were playing Fashion Police, so we give her a shout-out as well. We're full. We give credit where credit is due.
Feeling very Mr. Blackwell-ish here.
And who else we're going to give credit to? Marty Herson, because he walked out at one point.
He did. You couldn't see him. He passed within about 18 inches of me. So, but the man is stealthy.
It's all about what goes on behind the scenes. All right, that'll do it for Nutmeg Sports for your Monday. Enjoy your day. We're back with you tomorrow for field hockey. Back with you for a show, football on Friday. Coffee break tomorrow morning at 11. For Donald Eng, AJ Simonowski, our entire crew, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark Building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
Football University, the nation's leading football training experience, is now accepting applications for its 2015 camps. Our elite faculty of NFL coaches and top professionals teach position-specific on the field and in the classroom to improve your football IQ and help you reach your full potential as a player. Apply today at footballuniversity.org. Football University, where technique plus talent beats talent alone.